Hey guys, Loz here. Welcome back to City Skylines. We got a little bit done last episode. Finished off this terminal here, cargo terminal. Yep, that's what it's called. Now, I have to say, hopefully I say your name right. Iruk NG. Sorry if I got that wrong. Anyway, mate, you're a legend. Guys, let me just show you this mod quickly. Find road tool. Now, if you watched the last episode, you would have seen how much effort I put into trying to get these slopes to work with the roads. Check this out. If you haven't seen this, it's cool. So, we can set it to force the ground to follow the elevation of the road. Start at one point. Let's just do straight so I can show you how it works. Lift up the elevation, and bam. So it started at, well, wherever it was. And it just forced the... That's awesome. And what else can we do? We can force it to use elevated. So even if we're down below ground level, bam! Look at that. You could do some really cool stuff with this. And same with tunnels. We could bring it up above the ground level and force it to build a tunnel. Let's start off by... Let's drop this strength down a little bit. Let's lift this up a little underneath here, just so it's not so high. And then the brush size up, strength down, not too big on the brush size. Just to smooth this out. Just so it looks a little more, not super crazy high. And what I want to try and do... What I need to do is I need to wind this down the mountain. So I need to bring this highway back around. Actually, I should, while I'm doing this, we are going to start on some of the parks today as well. And off camera, before I started recording this episode today, I forgot when I was creating the map back in the first episode that when you're... I'm pretty sure when you're creating the map, you don't set the road direction. It defaults to right-hand drive traffic. So if you do what I did and go and put the left-hand, if you set the highways up as though they're left-hand drive, then as soon as you start a game and select left-hand drive, that highway will flip to right-hand and everything else will be left-hand, so it doesn't work. So we'll bring this up a little more. We're just filling this in so that in a moment I'll smooth it out and it'll be just so we can bring this curve around for the highways here, and then we'll bring the brush size up and smooth all that off just so it's a little more realistic as it winds down the mountain. It'd look a bit wrong if it was, it's already pretty high off the ground. That I doubt you'd see that anywhere really. We don't want to have it elevated so high that it just looks wrong. Alright, so let's get on with the roads. What height are we at there? 48. So let's bring it down. I'm trying to work out what gradient I want. We need to bring this around. I want the curve to be 16 by 16 units. And it was 48. Let's take it down to 38. And how far does 16 take us? 16, 28. Where's 28? There's 28. How does that look? Yeah, it's a bit messy. That is a bit messy indeed. So let's see if we can play around with the nodes for this a little bit. Let's get this one, bring it up. Bring this one down a touch. Perhaps it can be really tricky. Like the slope in the terrain makes this really difficult. We'll just bring these up until it's just a little bit more, realistic. Not that this game is based on real world scenarios, although there are some crazy roads out there, and usually the Japanese are responsible for those. I just don't like, that's alright, you won't notice, it just goes a little bit flat before the curve starts there. But that's fine. And we will bring this back around maybe. We need it to, we don't want a bridge. Let's go ahead actually and we'll bring this other side. So if that was 16, how many units are they apart? 3. So 16 plus 3, 19. Where's 19? So we will want to try and get 19 by 19. But that still looks like it's... No, we want 22. 22 by 22. There we go. That isn't 100%, but it's a good start. Let's see how it looks if I do the other side. 22. No, maybe this side will go 20. Bring that height down. That might be yeah, that'll do. And we'll come back in here with the node editor and we'll bring these down. This one down and this one down. Let's take this one back up a touch and this one, just to try and get these relatively at the same height. I really don't like this. It looks terrible. Like that, right there. I wonder if I go and flip this around. Oh, that kinda did something to it. Yep. If we get the direction right, must have just been where the join was. Yeah, that looks a lot better now. Okay, so these slope down and wind around. It's quite a steep slope, but I don't think that's unrealistic. And we might lift the terrain up underneath them anyway, just so they're not quite so high off the ground. And we want these to stay relatively the same height, just for aesthetics, I think. There we go. Okay, so I decided to speed this up because there's a lot of fine tuning that I'm doing. As you can see here, I'm using the node editor to just slightly adjust each section of the bridge and, sorry, each section of the highway. It's raised, I wouldn't call it a bridge. One thing I did notice as I was doing this was that if you make significant changes to a portion of the road, you need to go back to the nodes either side of that and just, increase or decrease once or twice, or even just increase and decrease once, just to get so it adjusts the angle so it doesn't have these really sharp angles on it. Now, working my way back down the mountain, I'm doing a section at a time and then adjusting the nodes. You may notice some people might pick on me because I'm doing the roads both in the same direction, then coming back and changing the direction, upgrading them to change the one-way direction after I put them down. There is a method to my madness there. The reason I do that is to try and get the curves around the corners as close as possible to each other. If it's just something in my head, if I'm looking at them the same way, then I'm just putting the point that the markers down on. I'm getting it pretty close, right? So getting back into it, I was for a while thinking that I would have this road going up and over this little hill here, but then I decided, you know what? Why not just cut it straight through the mountain? It's which I think that's much more like modern highways would be. And yeah, here I go again, doing the road the wrong way, then coming back doing the reverse. Yeah, so we cut through the mountain. I forget here that I've got it raised up 1 meter off the ground, and there's a section of road there that's... I'll come back and clean that up. So I did kind of have a rough idea the way I wanted this to go before I laid it all down. And this bit right here, this wouldn't have happened without the Fine Roads tool. The way that's cut through the landscape is perfect. I've seen a lot of roads, highways between country towns that have sections of the landscape cut out just like that, so that the highway is perfectly flat, and you've just got even that raised bit between the two different directions. I love that. That is so much like what I've seen in 2 or 3 different places. That worked out really well. So so what I had planned here to start with was the bridge coming across the 2 and wrapping around and going all the way up to the top. But then I kind of changed my thoughts on that. I figured that, the highway, it comes into the center, and then the highway stops. From where it stops, then we go with a 6-lane road all the way up. The highway was actually quite difficult to place because of, it kept going on these weird angles because of the number of different mods that mess with the roads, which are all fantastic, but if you hadn't noticed already, it does this weird thing where it stops doing the curve and it goes straight, and yeah, it got pretty annoying at times, and it took me quite a while to get these bridges done. Partly because of where the angle that I'm coming across the canals at, and I could have turned road anarchy on and disabled pillars or whatever, but you know what, I just wanted to go with it this way at the time, and it works out pretty damn well in the end. One thing I didn't notice, right? You see that dip that was just in that section of highway there between the 2 support pillars. I can't remember for the life of me what they're actually called at the moment. That I couldn't work out how to get rid of that, and I didn't realize that there was actually a node there. But the node editor, for some reason, I think it's because we're using both the node editor and Fine Roads tool together. You actually have to move your mouse up above the bridge, not over the bridge, and then it highlights the node and you can edit it. But I didn't see that until after I'd pretty much rebuilt most of the bridge. But then by rebuilding most of the bridge, it's come up so much closer than what it was the first time. You can see the support pylons are pretty much lined up next to each other the whole way up, and right there is when I discover, after I've done it all, that we've got the nodes in between. And yep, bit of a cleanup. Go and get rid of all these extra bits of road. I'll leave that little tunnel underneath. We will use that later. So I wasn't quite sure how I would turn these 2 highways into a 6-lane road. The highways are 3 lanes one way, and 6-lane road, it kind of matches up. I just wasn't quite sure how it would join. I don't know if I'm too happy with how it joins. I think I can come back and get that a bit neater at a later date. This part, it took so many attempts to get this to fit right. This was after about, 15-20 minutes of trying, and it's mainly because of trying to build curved roads over the canals. It got a little bit messy. Alright, so like I'd mentioned earlier, I am coming back through and filling out underneath a lot of these raised roads just so that it is a little more realistic. Alright guys, so just quickly going over what's been done. We've brought this highway all the way down. We've wound it down the mountain, hopefully in a way that looks rather realistic, and I think it does. I think it works quite well. They do come apart here a little bit. That's okay, we'll ignore that. So we brought it all the way down. Oh, we need to fix this bit up. Whoops. Bring that down. So, yes, we've got our highway coming all the way down the mountain. And you know what? We haven't used any of the original highway. We've just gone and chopped this one straight through the mountain. And there's a tree in the middle of the road there. Let's fix that up. I thought I got all of them. Whoops. Yep, so we go through the mountain, out the other side, where we then cut this little canyon into the mountain, and then over the bridges. I think it would be quite a nice drive, if it really existed. Comes down to the center of the valley onto a 6-lane road, which comes all the way up and is now joined to these sections. Yes, there is a lot of abandoned buildings and other trouble. It's all just catching up after I've messed it all up. So let's quickly, before we call it, we won't call it there yet. That was a lot of work, but I'm not gonna finish yet. That's not enough. What I'm gonna do now is 2 nice little parks up the top here. Now that we've got our road sorted. Hopefully all this should, start to clean up now that the roads are sorted out. While we're waiting, let's build some parks. Alright, so I had to speed this up, guys. I stuffed around a lot here. It took ages. Alright, so to start with, I'm just trying to level off the terrain here. I wanted it to come to more of a point that looked like it was man-made, not just worn away by the water flowing past. It's a man-made dam. It needs to look like it. So it was a bit tricky to get the landscape, just right, because it's so steep and the canals either side. There was a lot of going back and forth, but the single brush size width was extremely useful. Because underneath everything, it's all on a grid. This game, it all runs on a grid. So that single one means you're only applying it to one grid. Anyway, so thought I'd try out the keys to see how that worked. I was originally just going to go with the I'll say natural landscape, but then I thought, what, these keys actually look alright. That didn't quite work just there because the terrain dropped down inside the key and it just looked wrong. So yeah, I decided to wrap them around so they fit, so they sit just inside the edge, the concrete wall for the canals. There was a bit of trial and error here to get it to wrap around the terrain correctly, and there's just that one little spot, that spot there, that it bothered me. I couldn't get it to adjust, and sometimes you just got to decide it doesn't have to be perfect, it's good enough. And that was one of those moments. You won't even notice it once the park's done. So now, first thing, plainly honest, I've never done this level of detail before. So I thought that, wow, that looks rather phallic. Anyway, didn't notice that when I was making it. Okay, so I was trying to work out as I went the best way to get to build a park. So I figured, best thing first is a path. Work out where the paths go, and then everything else fits around that. So after I got the paths done, I decided that I did have the idea to start with that I wanted like a little picnic or barbecue area at the end of each of them that is fairly open, perhaps with a garden or something, something that looks like families would make the effort to walk all the way through to the other end to, sit down, have lunch, have a birthday, or, whatever they do. So we've got some picnic tables down, some barbecues, and we get on with what are these? Roses, I think these were? Yeah, anyway. So there was so much, props are annoying. Props are great. Okay, so let me start that again. Props are great, but I think that there's still a lot of improvement that can go into the way some of it works. There's so many like I've not created any props myself, so I don't want to complain too much. But the number of props where people haven't gone to the effort of creating, they've put so much work into creating the prop, then they don't create the icon for it. I don't know. But yeah, like I said, I can't talk. I've thought about making my own. I might do one day. I might even do a tutorial on it if I work out how to do it myself. But yeah, trying to scroll through all the props and find ones that don't have icons, frustrating. And here's that spot that I couldn't work out. And when I was doing these fences, I was sitting there thinking, oh, why didn't I just get it right? Because the fences or the props, they will be based on the terrain height. And there I was trying to work out if I could put an actual park in, just make it work somewhere. But no, there's no roads, it's all paths, so you can't build against paths. So, moving on to some trees. I just went with the one type of tree. It is a, I did really like the look of it when I built it. I was quite pleased with it. But then it is also the first park I've ever made. So now that I'm watching it again, I might come back through and add a little more detail in a later episode. Some, grass and more flowers and all that. And I did want to make this. So I came into this, right? I didn't lay these paths out with this intention. But once I saw the paths, I thought, what? Maybe a really nice garden in the center. And I started laying it out, and then I realized there's the hedges. And I thought, hang on a second. With the prop line tool, I can use these single hedges to create a maze. The only problem with the prop line tool after I started it was that you don't actually see where it's going to place the first one. So it's a bit trial and error to get the first one to place close to where you want it. Now, it worked pretty well. I think I probably, if I was to ever recreate this, I would go about finding probably better hedges, but these were the best I had found so far. Some of the other hedges I've found, they just look like chunks of green plastic. These ones were the best ones I've found so far, and they actually move like it's wind blowing. They move with the grass, and it starts to look rather hypnotic when all of the hedges are down and the grass underneath is moving as well. But yeah, I love the prop line tool, but I really wish that you could see where that first prop was going to be placed. It would make it so much easier. So I got to about this point and I thought, you know what? Maybe not a maze through the whole thing. Maybe a maze either side, and it leads into a garden in the center or a picnic area, another picnic area. So that's what I did. And yeah, came back around the other side, started doing the maze there. This was so much effort, guys. I'm really happy with how it turned out, but it was a lot of effort. Yeah, the garden in the center, I wasn't sure what I wanted to go with there. I knew that I wanted some picnic tables. I had decided that. I wanted it to not just be a average everyday family barbecue area. So picnic tables, some nice trees, and maybe a few decorations. That's it. So yeah, a fountain in the center. That works. Yep, and you know what? There's those two. I have no idea what they're called. Those lion. Are they lion ornaments? Anyway, I created those two little areas to be like, those secret little hidden areas. Like, oh, you almost got there, but no, you're not in the right place. Yeah. So, like, I do like how that turned out. I think it needs a little more detail. Let me know what you think, guys. If you want to leave a comment, let me know what you think. Does it need more detail? Do I need better hedges? I do like the purple-ish, the lilac. That's probably the right color. The lilac flowers around the outside. Yeah, let me know what you think. Alright, so obviously we need lighting around the park, and it took me a long time to settle on which lamps to go with, but as you can see, I'm pretty sure this is one of the default ones in the game. Alright guys, I got a little carried away and realised I could build a maze, so I did. Yeah, prop lines and some hedges. Probably could have found some better hedges for it, but these ones work okay. Yeah, so we got. I think this. I like it. This is the first time I've tried to do anything like this. This level of detail. If we were to, I need to get a first-person camera mod. We switch down here. There we go. So now we can see through the park. We've got lighting, barbecue areas. It's it'll be a nice view when a few things are cleaned up there. We've got this maze in the middle with another little picnic area and garden in the centre. I suppose I could fill that out a little more, but that'll be later. I've spent a lot of time on this so far. Yeah, lighting, fences around. I haven't actually done fences along here. I might quickly do the fences along there and draw a line. Fence. Let's find the fence that we were using. Where was it? It's that one. Let's see. Oh, perfect. Perfect. What I might do is just get it down to about there. And we'll throw another one just across the front here. Yeah, that'll do it. And we'll do the same on the other side. Draw a line. Actually, no, this side, because the key is so close, we might even... It's just trying to find that spot where the mount... Let's try placing it from the other end. See if we can... Oh, that one's perfect. Let's see if we can get it to line up right on that one there. Brilliant. Okay, we've got fence lines around the whole thing. Love it. I love it. Alright guys, so we got the highway done. That is coming down the mountain quite nicely now. That I'm really happy with how that turned out. That mod is fantastic. Yep, what was it called again? Yeah, Fine Road Tool. That's the one. I will link that one. It is in the collection, but I'll put a link to that one in the description of this video. Yep, so we got those highways done and this first park. It doesn't look like much from a distance, but man, that was a lot of work. That was a lot of work, but I'm really happy with how it turned out. I'm really happy. Alright guys, you know what to do. Hit that like, dislike, subscribe, leave a comment, let me know what you think. If there's anything you want to see done or any mods you want to suggest, let me know. Alright guys, thanks for watching. See you next time.